Imagine sitting at home, playing the games you love, having thousands of people watch your every move, and making a comfortable living while doing it. That's the life of a full-time streamer or a YouTuber, and it sounds like the most perfect, ideal lifestyle one could ask for. But believe it or not, for many people, this dream job is actually kind of a nightmare.
I'm actually killing myself. Are you ready? Depression is a bitch. Stop messing me. It's already planned.
Now, it's only been the past couple of months where I've really felt a bit depressed. And, well, basically, it sounds really fucking crazy, but I contemplated like many a times, and I want to do it, and I wanted to do it so badly. I wanted to fucking kill myself, and it sounds really fucking stupid. And me saying it openly sounds bizarre, and this is the first time I actually come out with it.
You know, I'm really bad at giving advice for getting out of it, because when I really think about it, and when I really sit around and look at the whole world, I'm like, do I really want to live in this world? I don't know. So
you would think it would. You would think money makes you happy, but it really doesn't. I mean, there's a number in my bank account. I don't have to worry about, fucking shit anymore. But there's other things.
What you just saw were some of the biggest streamers on Twitch and some content creators all having a pretty similar issue, and that is depression. And this is a trend that I've been noticing has been happening a lot with a lot of people on the internet, a lot of famous people on the internet, and with streamers especially. I'm going to be kind of analyzing and also pointing out more things that some of these streamers said, people like Ice Poseidon and Wreckful, because I feel like it offers a really good insight into how they feel and what causes their depression. And in this video, I really want to delve into this problem and figure out what's causing all of this. And not only that, but some possible solutions or ways to cope with this kind of issue. And the reason I want to look at this from the streamer's perspective is because depression is a really complicated issue. So I think the best way to learn something from this is by looking at the people, hearing their stories, and making a personal connection. Because ultimately, this is an issue that relates to people. This isn't anything that relates to money, materialism, or even how successful you are. In fact, there are many studies that show a lot of successful people tend to actually have higher depression rates than people who are not successful. And part of the reason for this is because when people set goals for themselves and they reach those goals and they are really successful in what they do, sometimes they reach a plateau where they feel like they can't really progress anymore. And one of the most depressing feelings is having a lack of progress and not constantly improving yourself. It sounds bizarre, but even if by the standards of an average income person, for example, you're making a ton of money or are just really successful in whatever business you do, when you set that goal or that standard for yourself and you fail to meet that, it can be one of the most crushing feelings ever. And in a certain sense, it is true that money can't solve everything. And look, I get it. Money is important, especially for someone who's working their ass off and barely making ends meet. It can seem like if you had a lot of money, it would solve all of your problems. And actually, I was talking about this with one of my friends recently, and he brought up a really good example, which certainly helped me wrap my brain around it. If you're playing a game like Grand Theft Auto and you unlock all the cheats, for a while, the game is going to be really fun. You can just be flying around in cars, shooting people with tanks, doing all the fun, crazy stuff. You're gonna have a blast doing it, but after a while it starts to get kind of old. No matter how many cheats you unlock or how invincible you are in the game or how many crazy things you can do, ultimately if the game isn't fun, it just won't be fun to you anymore. No amount of cheats will ever change that, and you will just get bored of it. Twitch and live streaming are offering an insight into depression and how these people feel in a way that I don't think we've really ever seen before. You know, you think of the internet as this place where people openly share their feelings and emotions, and well-known people on Twitter or YouTube and different forms of social media are often pretty open about their lives and things they do, and you can certainly see a lot of emotion and passion coming from them. And while I certainly think those kinds of people also suffer from depression, Twitch and live streaming is really interesting because it's a platform where everything happens off the cuff and almost nothing is scripted, meaning you see a lot of streamers do impulsive things and talk about their feelings in a very open way that you won't ever get from an edited video or a tweet that's pre-planned, which is why I want to focus on streamers. But depression, of course, is a very wide-ranging issue and a problem that affects all of society, especially nowadays, and I want to touch on that a little bit as well. Consider that the lifestyles of the modern workplace and the popular pastimes that a lot of people have, things like gaming or consuming entertainment in the form of the internet or the TV, these things are pretty recent. I mean, the TV wasn't even around more than 60 years ago, and the internet has only really been massively exclusively popular for like the past 15 years or so. A person I really admire and whose podcast I listen to frequently, Joe Rogan, actually offers a perspective on this in a very concise and interesting way.
Human beings, when we evolved and developed and we're hunter-gatherers, that there's a set of rewards. There's reward systems that are set up inside the human body, inside the very being that we embody, that don't get met in today's society. And that's one of the things that's causing depression. One of the things that's causing this funk that people are in is that we're living our lives, many of us at least, in these very unfulfilling ways, where you're going to this office with artificial light and you're doing something you don't want to do all day long, and then you get home and you're tired. And on top of that, you're eating shit. You're eating potato chips and you're drinking soda, and your body is just like, what in the fuck is this? We're supposed to be out in the fields. We're supposed to be walking up hills. We're supposed to be looking for animals or gathering vegetables. We're supposed to be doing all these things that our body's designed to do. We're supposed to be in nature.
Yeah.
And nature is like a medicine. Like, it literally is a medicine to you. Like, people that go... You don't have to go hunting. You don't have to go fishing. Just go fucking hike, man. Just go hike up to the top of a mountain and look out. You know, there's a reward that you get from that is intensely, like, soul-filling.
Being a slave to a screen and a computer, that in itself is totally unnatural, and just sitting down for long periods of time, those are things that will just affect your brain and your mind state chemically. Again, of course, studies have shown that not getting enough sunlight or exercising enough usually leads to people being more depressed. But let's bring things back a little bit to the streamers, because again, I think they're in a very unique position, a position which a lot of people want to be in. I mean, me personally, it would be awesome to be a full-time streamer, to live off of playing games and having fun, essentially. But as with anything in life, that comes with its own downfalls. Ice Poseidon mentions one of the more unexpected problems from streaming and being behind a computer despite having thousands of viewers.
Like, it just makes me sad, you know? Like, I don't typically talk about this stuff to you guys because I just don't think you care. You know, I don't talk to anybody. Like, I don't even talk to my parents. Like, I don't, like, I live with my parents, but we maybe talk like 2 words, maybe like 2 words a day, like maybe a sentence a day. Yeah, I don't really have anybody else. So you guys are like, if there's anybody in here watching, you're like the one who I'm, you know what I mean, talking to and letting this off my chest with. Like, I never like have opened myself up to people before.
There's a great irony in this situation. I mean, Ice Poseidon and many other streamers are people who get thousands of viewers, hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions in total of people who like them, like their stream, enjoy watching them. And yet, it's hard for them to have these personal and friendly connections with people.
Where do you meet new people? I never meet anyone new in like normal life. And when people actually want to meet me through the stream, like you guys were just viewers and just hang out and talk, you know, you guys are usually cool. But when people actually want to meet me through the stream, usually they have some hidden agenda, you know? They're like, I'm becoming a streamer soon. Or it's something like that every fucking time.
And this is something I kind of experience in a different way. I'm someone who has a lot of acquaintances, but I don't have very many close personal friends. And I can kind of relate to what Ice Poseidon's saying here. It can feel very lonely when you don't have someone who's really an authentic, genuine friend who you can just talk to or hang out with or relate to in some way. And you gotta understand from these streamers' points of view, these are people who make a lot of money, get a lot of viewers, have a lot of attention. Even if they wanted to, and they went out of their way to try and make genuine connections with their friends and fans and viewers, in a sense, they can't trust anyone. I mean, how do you tell if someone authentically wants to be your friend or just wants you for their own benefits? Whether it's from getting viewers off of you, getting attention off of you, or even getting some of your money. I'm not saying everyone who wants to be your friend will want these things, but I am saying it's going to be pretty hard to distinguish between the people who do and don't. And it only takes getting fucked over a few times to totally lose your faith in people. Oftentimes, people in this position, streamers and celebrities and people like that, their circle of friends will only include other people of a similar lifestyle. So streamers will just be friends with other streamers. However, even then, I mean, everyone is sort of competing in a way. So then questions of people using each other come up. How real and how fake people are. How much people are doing things for the stream and for the money. Those are all questions that come into play. I mean, this is something that Reckful very much grew disdain for and felt was straining his relationships because a lot of the friends he had were other streamers. And it got to a point where so much drama was created that he felt like he couldn't trust any of these people. In a sense, it's lonely at the top. That's one of the greatest ironies with having such a large audience. You could have 100,000 viewers, yet not a single genuine friend. And of course, many of these streamers spend every day online streaming at their computer for hours and hours on end. Because number one, I mean, it's how they make a living. And number two, once you've sort of built up an audience, that's something you're locking yourself into. It's like a TV series that never ends. You're spending so much time and effort trying to be entertaining and funny that in doing so, you can end up making everyone but yourself happy. And oftentimes, many of them do want drama. They do want conflict because it's more interesting. The lives of streamers and people online can often seem like a reality show. But unlike reality shows where people know exactly what they're signing up for, where a lot of it is staged and scripted and fake, and everyone gets to go home at the end of the day living their normal life, you're not acting. You are home. That is your life on display for thousands or millions of people to watch. And I think that's why you're starting to see a lot of these streamers have these emotional outpourings and these admissions of sadness, loneliness, and depression. Everyone has a breaking point because you can't hide your demons forever, especially when a good portion of your life is being shown to thousands of people. It's like everyone's living in their own version of the Truman Show, except they're willingly doing it. It's sort of bizarre when you think about it. And in a lot of ways, it is totally unnatural. And I'm not just saying that to sound like some sort of hippie or something, but I mean, really, if you think about it, fame on such a massive scale, connecting to so many people online, is something we're totally not wired for as a species. I mean, we're social beings, but we're also meant to be within tribes, within families, within groups, where everyone does their part, where everyone works together. I truly don't think the human brain is made to entertain for thousands of people day in and day out. I think this is the same reason why so many celebrities and people who are famous seem to be so off the rails. Evidently, fame can really take a toll on your mental state. But to reiterate what Joe Rogan said, who, by the way, he himself is a pretty level-headed, smart, healthy, and happy guy, despite his vast fame and success. Human beings have certain instinctual drives, and believe it or not, our brains aren't really caught up to the lifestyles we have now. There is such a disconnect between our biology and the activities we engage in daily. Unfortunately, I think it's only going to get worse as time goes on, as technology grows, as the way we interact with each other and with the real world become more and more disconnected from reality. That's why it's important to try and reconnect with nature, reconnect with ourselves, find something that drives us, that motivates us, that makes us get up in the morning every day. Something besides just a view count, or as Ice Poseidon said, a number in your bank account. It's important to have those meaningful connections with people, and most of all, keep yourself centered. It doesn't matter if you're a celebrity or you're famous or you're a big streamer or you're not. The fact of the matter is depression can affect anyone. Things like exercise, going out into nature, sometimes just going out there and connecting with the world around you is the best therapy. We aren't meant to be cooped up in dimly lit rooms or offices all day. Not only that, but your diet is also super important. If you're eating shitty junk food and drinking carbonated soft drinks all day, chances are you're not getting all the nutrients your body and your brain needs to function properly. Yeah, it sounds cliche, but you really are what you eat. And of course, sleep is really important, and we all know how bad gamers are at getting sleep. I mean, I'm pretty guilty of this myself, and so many of my friends and people that I know online are like terrible insomniacs. They just are always sleeping at really odd hours. I mean, when I was younger, I never had that problem. But again, access to the computer, to games, and of course, endless entertainment, and the internet never turns off. I mean, there's no downtime with any of the activities we engage in these days. YouTube is always up. There's always new videos coming up. There's always people live streaming on Twitch. There's always ways to entertain yourself. So while your brain needs to shut down for sleep every night, you're kind of being trained to feel like you should always be up, I think. Of course, though, at the end of the day, depression is always going to be a very complicated issue. But at the same time, I think people often overcomplicate life or add a lot of unnecessary stress. And I think peering into the window that some of these streamers and content creators are dealing with when it comes to depression is really important for understanding how it can affect any of us. And of course, I wish the very best for these people, and it sucks because they're kind of hard to reach on a personal level for some of the reasons I mentioned earlier. But, you know, maybe next time you're in a stream chat or you're on a YouTube comment section, instead of just trolling and being a complete asshole, maybe try to understand something from their perspective. Try to connect with them on a more personal level. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.
Oh, I love this song. I love this song. My mood. Yes.
They don't bite, they keep things loose, they keep things alive. Dancing in the moonlight, dancing in the moonlight.
The enemy's here. He's dancing. What the fuck? Feels good, man.
The moonlight, everybody's feeling warm and right. such a fine and natural sight.